Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Ben from Staub. I am the marketing and sales support manager, and it is a pleasure for me to have Chanel Spence and Barry McCorkle from D-Tools in order to enlighten us on how quoting and proposals can be made easy thanks to D-Tools and the integration with Staub pricing. A few housekeeping items for today. Everyone is on mute, and you have an ability to ask your questions via the questions pane or via the chat box. We will address all of your questions at the end of the webinar in order to give Chanel time to concentrate and be able to run through her presentation. So again, thank you very much for your time today. And with no further ado, Chanel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Quoting and Proposals Made Easy with D-Tools and Staub webinar. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for your interest. We're glad you're here. Again, my name is Chanel, and I'll be presenting today. So a little bit about me. I've been with the team for 16 years, and it's still very exciting to see both of our products evolve to meet the needs of our customers. To set the stage a bit, I just wanted to give you an introduction to who we are as a company and what to expect with D-Tools Cloud. As the market leading software provider to the industry, we've helped over 7,000 companies. It's probably significantly more than that. But we've helped companies just like yours cut costs and grow revenue by becoming more efficient. We do have two products. We have D-Tools System Integrator. That's the 25-year-old product, right? Our flagship product. And then about 5 years ago, we launched a secondary product with D-Tools Cloud. It's our browser-based, more plug-and-play solution, and that's the one that we'll be focusing on today. Sound good? All right. So as a recap, we're going to talk about the benefits of connecting to Staub pricing and how that can help speed up the quoting process. We want to talk about our CRM Lite and how we can help manage your sales pipeline and speed up proposal acceptance and improve those quote to close ratios. And then, of course, buying it's the easy part, right? So once your customer accepts and signs your proposal, how do we flow that to the office and now start to procure the products? So we'll talk about sending those purchase orders as well. All right, so a little bit about how D-Tools Cloud can help. Again, we want to speed up the sales process. We want to improve the way that your client engages with the D-Tools Cloud proposal, really encourage internal collaboration, right? There's a lot of moving pieces that your client undergoes through their buying journey. So we want to just make sure that that relay is smooth and remove any possible friction points, right? And also implement a process that's scalable. If someone joins your team and it's all in your head, that makes it more challenging. But through the use of our application, they can hit the ground running more quickly while they continue to understand the why you do things the way you do it. So without further ado, the crux of why we're here, right? We want to talk about the D-Tools integrated product library. Now, we'll be focusing on Staub today, but we do partner with a lot of brands. And every product that you download from our library will come with a suggested installation time for labor. So we're going to give you a base, right? We don't know how long you specifically would like to charge. So you kind of have that tweak as you go. But tying labor to equipment is one of those areas that we've identified as speeding up the sales process because they're one and the same, right? And then we'll do a deep dive into exactly what you're pulling down from the D-Tools catalog specifications and all the different resources that come along with our data. Talking about that CRM Lite, we're going to talk about managing your clients and contacts, doing your pipeline, all the automation that can go along with the quote reminders, notifications, and ultimately how your customers accept and sign your proposals. We'll also touch on visual quoting. Drawings on a whole have always been our differentiator in the industry. No one draws like we do. But this time around, we decided to build our own browser based drawing integration. If you have more detailed drawing requirements that maybe cloud is a little too light for, just keep in mind that System Integrator has a full-on AutoCAD and Visio direct integration. But in DTools Cloud, our drawings are more of a sales tool, right? We wanted to really empower the sales team to collaborate visually with the customer and help boost their understanding and just tie it all together for them, because I feel like that's sometimes why people sit on the quotes so long is, they're trying to connect the dots. So hopefully this helps bring it all together for them and gets you closer to closing that deal. And our proposals are interactive. So there's lots of cool engagement things that your clients can do when you've shared a proposal with them. So we really want to treat the proposal like a shopping cart, right? Clients are very used to buying things online and wanted to leverage and empower that for our customers. So you can build out galleries. We'd really love the proposal to be an extension of your website so that day one, they kind of get a taste of what it means to do business with you. So you can hyperlink images and kind of breadcrumb them back to your website. Maybe they had no idea that you did commercial or security, for example, and they can kind of learn more about that offering. We also have what we call alternate sets and client selectable options. So we've identified this good, better, best scenario that tends to pop up during the sales process. And it can be a lot of back and forth between sales and the customer. And depending on the scope of the job, it can be very cumbersome and overwhelming for your client to undergo that sales experience. So what we've tried to do is you can group equipment, right, in sort of a good, better, best scenario, and you can make your recommendation. And then if the client wants something a little bit more cost effective or high end, right, they can go ahead and make that selection themselves. Update the bottom line of the proposal and accept. So hopefully this also reduces the time that it takes for those deals to get signed. And we have it on the equipment level, and we also have client selectable options on the package level. So you might have a TV package or a security package or grouping of equipment. You have this capability there as well. All right. And so we'll switch gears to the project management side. We won't be doing a deep dive here today, but I did want to just talk about our QuickBooks integration. So if you are using QuickBooks, whether that's desktop or online, you can basically push the sold proposal over to QuickBooks as an estimate. And then it's business as usual thereafter. But our goal is to remove that double data entry that may happen post sale when it's time for you to invoice your customer. Okay, we also have integrated ordering. So you're able to send your purchase orders directly to Staub and have them tracked and fulfilled. We'll touch on the idea of change orders and your project planning. Okay, so our business intelligence. This is another one of our differentiators in the industry. We want to aggregate your day-to-day granular data and present it back to you in a more meaningful way, in hopes that when you're making those business decisions, you have some data as a foundation to steer you, to back you up. So we'll talk about that. And then, so that's where we are. I wanted to talk a little bit about the roadmap with you because we have a very aggressive roadmap and our team is awesome. You can expect new builds of our software about every 3 weeks. And we're not just talking, we moved a button. This is your hardcore functionalities being added on a monthly basis. So at the end of Q1, we'll be launching our service management suite. And our entire goal here is to increase the likelihood of your customers signing a service agreement with every proposal that you submit, right? So, yes, we want to get them customers for life, right? Project completion is no longer the finish line. So you'll be able to, so once they accept the proposal, then they'll accept the service agreement. And you'll see that you can, see which contracts are expiring and which ones are current. And of the business that you've sold, you have what your service plan attachment rate is. So we hope that this does increase revenue and also, give your clients a lot of benefit to subscribing to your preventative maintenance services. So really excited about that. It's going to be a total game changer. And then just to funnel that through, what does that look like on the technician side, right? They'll be able to receive a task, communicate to the client that they're on their way, and of course, access the notes and the service history and complete their service task. And then if the client isn't covered by one of your service plans, we want to make it really easy for them to hop on. So really excited about our service management. All right. So just want to talk about the exclusive benefits that are available to Staub dealers today. If you're not familiar with us, you can go to d-tools.com and sign up for our trial. Typically, annual customers get 10% off. We are offering an additional 5% on top of that, thanks to Staub. So feel free to sign up and enter in our coupon code to get started. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into our demonstration today. All right, bear with me. So now we are logged into the software and we're on the opportunities tab. And I'm going to take a moment just to walk you through some of the more important areas of the main navigation, and then we're going to dive into a proposal. So just to talk about this user interface for a second, this is where the process really starts, right? Each of these columns I've customized to be a stage in my sales process. So you go into the More menu. There are these three little dots right here. I always like to call it out because this concept is peppered throughout the entire application. There's always tons of rich functionality embedded beneath the More menu. So basically, you just start defining all the milestone stages in your sales process, and you give them different weights as the deal moves towards becoming one or whatever you've called your final stage, right? And then you just kind of drag and drop as things progress, and ultimately, when they accept and sign, you drop it into the signed contract column. So we hope that, by managing it visually, it's really easy for the user and management to see at a glance where things are, who's working on it, and what's the next step in the process. So when the customer says yes, that's when you create a project. So a project to us is a signed contract. I didn't actually mean to do that, so let me go ahead and just revert that back. But a project to us is a sold opportunity. And that would drop that opportunity down to the projects tab where you get another Kanban board that you can customize that mimics your post-sale process, right? So again, the biggest benefit between these two tabs here is that we're trying to map out your entire customer journey visually in hopes that it makes it a lot more predictable and repeatable. Another thing that happens in the background when you convert an opportunity to a project is we lock the bill of materials down as the as sold. So that gives us that firm compare point to manage change. We might not get into full on change orders today, but internal versus external, right? Internal changes are non billable. The client may not necessarily need to be aware, but it's something that we still need to track internally. And then, of course, external changes will have a proposal, a change order proposal, and then require client acceptance. So really, really nice workflow. You also have a schedule here. This is your global schedule. You can schedule, by day, by resource, by project. So nice ways to visually manage your resources. All right. So we're going to go into the catalog, and this is where it gets a little bit exciting. So you're going to go ahead and click on Manage Pricing. Go to your Available Pricing tab and select Connect. I've already connected to Staub, right? So to connect for the first time, you go ahead and just enter in your credentials, and voila, you've now connected to your integrated pricing with Staub. It's just that easy. So what we're sharing with you here is the blue check mark lets you know that we're partnered with that supplier, and the dollar sign indicates that we have integrated supplier pricing. You can see when last the pricing was updated on and the cadence of the updates. So it's weekly, and that's really, really awesome. They're working with us and being super diligent that together we can keep your pricing current and reduce some of that data management that is very tedious and time consuming. All right. And then if you'd like, you can peruse the brands. They're a very large distributor and they have a lot of relationships. So this is where you can just kind of have a look at those and take advantage. All right. So once you've connected to Staub, you can start adding products to a quote. I'm just going to go in the products library and talk a little bit about what to expect here. So in regards to our library, we hope to give you a healthy head start, right, on the equipment that you may need to quote. But it is your products list. So you can add products, you can import and export products via an Excel CSV file. So lots of options to quickly establish a catalog of equipment that you sell. All right. Deeper dive and kind of outline what you are downloading from us. Let's pick this camera, for example. Manufacturer, model number, category. Those are the three required fields for any product to exist. We have a short description, we have a longer description. You have a couple images here. In the More menu, you can also upload your own image. And this is the thumbnail that will represent this product on your proposal, should you decide to show images. All right. Now, moving down to pricing, this is really where the rubber meets the road, right? My cost is supplier set, and that is the benefit, right? We know how much you paid for it because you're connected to Staub for integrated pricing. What we don't know is how much you want to sell it for, right? And you have a couple options. You can just type in, I want to sell this for $300. Or you can work from the margin, right? If you want to make 40 points of margin on this product, we're going to, do the backwards math and tell you how much you should sell this for to achieve that goal, right? But tying profitability to every product that you sell is how we know how profitable you are going to be on the quote level prior to presenting to the client, right? Super important. Now, over on the labor tab, this is another exciting piece. So we're going to provide the D Tools suggested labor. If you agree, fantastic. If you guys have me on the team, you might as well add 2 hours to everything so you don't lose money, right? But again, tying labor to equipment. Now, there's a lot of different ways that companies like to manage and sell time. Just know that we have a lot of different methods. If you just want to add a line item or you want to make it a percentage of the total product, we have all those capabilities available as well. It's just our default best practice is to do it this way, right? Now, there's also different types of labor that you sell at different rates. So, what's kind of cool is that you're able to stack additional types of labor onto the device, very much in a set it and forget it kind of way. So, let's say it's going to be 30 minutes of materials management. So the labor, the programming, the receiving, the staging, all that stuff. This 445 is a part of my estimated install price. And how we show that to the customer is up to you. But this is the back end internal composition of this product, right? So again, you want to make it really easy for sales to bang out this quote without forgetting to add the programming SKU. And then because our partners are so awesome, they do provide us with additional content. And we just put that inside the library. So if you want to see user guides, cut sheets, PDF, all that additional content is here for you to access. Your customers can also access this from inside the proposal. It's taking a bit to download, but just great additional benefits for your customers. All right. Specifications, height, width, depth, weight, really awesome. On the accessories tab, this is another area where speed and accuracy may not align, right? So you're able to load the parent item up with all the bits and bobs so that I don't have to worry about every item and all its granular items. Every time I sell a TV, it comes with a bracket, a mount, the HDMI, the remote, kind of set it and forget it. All right. So we're going to go to the labor types tab. So this is where you can define all the different types of labor that you sell, just in case you just want to add a labor line item, you have the SKU for it. These are also the same SKUs that I nested under that parent item to load it up with labor. Allowances. I don't have any allowances, but they're really easy to create. An allowance is a placeholder for equipment, right? So, for example, I want to sell Ben a large TV, right? I'm not too sure what, look, he's going to go for that one. Actually, let's go for that one. All right, I'm going to sell him a large TV. I'm not sure how much he wants to spend, but I'm just going to put a $5,000 placeholder for it. It's going to ask for a category. So I'm just going to say this is a display device. Sure, update. So that when I'm meeting with him during the initial client meeting, I can get scope and budget, right? He's not going to get sticker shock if I present a $10,000 TV. We're kind of having that conversation, and I know that I can replace these allowances with any product from the catalog and specify and get closer, but we want to kind of start broad. An allowance is great for that. You're doing a security project and every window is getting a contact sensor. You don't really have to specify what exactly, but they're all $30 and there's 10 of them, you're looking at $300 or whatever the scenario. So really nice flexibility during the sales process. Packages, another or the number one way to automate your quoting, right? If you've sold a package before, or if you're doing it for the second time, just group it, save it as a package, and push it out to the catalog for all the other users. So, really, really nice way to speed up the quoting process. What's also nice is that our application has this two-tier workflow. So once you add a package to a quote, any items that you add or take away aren't going to overwrite your global package. It's just a one-off modification for that customer. So tons of flexibility. And then you have your alternate steps. So we're going to do that on the quote level today, but this is where if you wanted to offer maybe two different speakers or two different packages, you could do that. All right, so on the reports side, pardon my data, not my main subscription, but this is where we would aggregate your sales forecast, your reporting, and all that to allow you to see what's ahead and what your quote to close ratio is, your pipeline, um, monthly reports. So really nice content for that Monday morning sales meeting. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the opportunities tab and we're going to go into an existing opportunity. So right away, you have some more CRM coming through. We'll walk you through a wizard when you're creating an opportunity for the first time. You're going to enter the client name, the type of project, the priority. If they decide to share budget with you, that's awesome. You can pop that in as well, and where that lead came from. We'll definitely, one of our management reports are revenue by lead source. So is the bulk of your revenue coming from referrals, or is it the website, or is it the marketing department? And you have your quote here. You can have multiple quotes until one quote per opportunity is accepted. And below, you have notes and to-dos. So D-Tools Cloud is really big on collaboration. You can mention your teammates. What that does, it sends a real-time email notification to that user and just kind of loops them in to all the milestone changes that are happening within this particular opportunity. You also have to-dos. I like to treat to-dos as the next step in the sales process, right? I'm going to call Ben on next week Friday if he hasn't opened my proposal, just to make sure that he's okay and everything's moving forward. All right. And then below, you have this show activity here. So what's really nice is we have a named user licensing model. So every user has their own footprint in the software. So you can kind of see the thread of activity and quickly get caught up to speed without having to have a meeting about it. It's also nice because I can know if Barry deleted the drawing, I don't, there's accountability there as well, which is awesome. And then any attachments. So this is one place to manage all the moving parts to bring this deal home. All right. Now, again, tons of shortcuts. I didn't call it out, but you can copy opportunities. So if there is a job that you've sold repeatedly or maybe a sweet spot that you've identified, you can basically use that quote over and over again and modify and save as new. But we're going to go into the quote. And you land on the overview tab, right? But just to go to the project description section here, this is a nice area where you can put little snippets of all the solutions and services that you provide and create a kind of master template, right? Every project that you embark on might be unique, but standardization across your documentation is the goal here. So that way your sales resources are removing the text that's not applicable versus creating it, which is, a huge time saver. And then you also get that one man, one sound kind of vibe with your documentation. All right. So I'm going to go over to design. And there are three ways that you can approach the quoting process: list, visual, and image. List is your traditional style where you're going to define a location and we're going to add equipment to it. Visual is the more modern style where you can upload a floor plan, PDF, JPEG, PNG file, and then stamp icons on top to build your quote. And you have image quoting, which is my favorite because I'm kind of lazy. This is where you can snap a photo and then add equipment to the photo to build your quote. Really good for retrofit projects and showing the customer what the finished installation will look like. The cool bit is that you can bounce around, mix and match, use all three. It's always one bill of materials and one output, a proposal, no matter what space you prefer to work in. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of all three. With the locations, you basically just create a new location. I'm going to keep our example really simple today, but just know that you can create sub-locations. You guys work on a lot more complex projects than I'm going to be showing today. So we go down 3 tiers deep: building, floor, room, closet. So you can really specify exactly where the equipment's going. All right, you can give it a description if you'd like, and then you're going to start searching for products to add, right? So I'm going to go Claire. So this is another way we help our users hit the ground running. Setting up software sucks. So we're just trying to have a more plug and play experience. So you're always simultaneously searching the DTools library and your catalog. Any equipment that you pull from us and add to a quote will be added to your catalog in the background. So feel free to load it up, but also know that your catalog can evolve based on the items that you've quoted, which is just a nice experience. All right, so it's going in the main entry and it is a part of my security system. I'm going to add that product to my quote. And I'm prompted for my optional accessory. Awesome, sure. Let's go ahead and add that. And here you go. So again, the more menu is right here. So you can add accessories on the fly. Once you've added an accessory, the next time a user adds that parent item, you'll be automatically prompted for the accessory. So DTools Cloud is smart. It does shape itself to how you like to work. And over time, based on the choices that you've made, it really is a custom solution. So I have my accessories here. I have a little asterisk. So you can set these warning notifications and on what this means, right? So this is saying that I don't have any cost, or maybe your margin is zero, so that again you're working quickly. You can kind of look out for what those indicators are. Let's just say, it cost me 50. So when you add cable for the first time, it's by the box, right? But which is fine. But we do have the ability to make your cable length based. So once you do that, then you just have to enter in, how much you paid for it, how much you want to sell it for, and then what your default wire length is: 100 meters, 200, and so forth, so that next time you can save those changes to the catalog and you'll have a 100-meter drop of cable. All right. Now I'm going to select the product and we're going to look at the details. All right. So now I know your cost, we have your selling price, and you can make any one-off changes. Maybe this client, this project is more challenging. I can add labor types. I can also just say it's going to take me an extra hour because of X, and make a one-off change. Now we do have permission. So if you are an administrator, you do have the permission to push a job specific change out globally to the catalog for other users. Otherwise, we won't remember this change. Oh, and then we can add an alternate set. So let's just say I want to give Ben two options. I'm going to say choose your preferred camera. And I'm going to say you can choose between that one. Let's just grab, I'm going to give him this choice. All right, so this is standard. And guys, part of that, I don't know if it's actually standard. And works well for most people. And let's just say this is best and perfect. Just right. So he's going to be able to pick the camera that he'd like. The one that you mark as recommended, that's the one that feeds into the bottom line in the quote. But then he'll have the option to either add, and you can decide what, there's a little sales psychology here. Do I recommend the higher one and then have him want to save, or do I recommend the more cost effective, knowing that, he has to add $103? So really, really nice, but a one-off alternate set. You also can make products optional. Let's just say I have I don't know, just going to add a switch, and it's a part of my networking system. Ben maybe didn't ask me for this, but I kind of want to throw it out there. I can make it optional, which means it doesn't feed into the bottom line, but if he wants to tack it on, he can. Really nice, powerful tools here. So you can make products optional. You can also make locations or systems optional. So our thought here is maybe you're doing AV for a client and they have no idea that you do security, but you have a conversation. You can propose a security system and make it optional. Or perhaps you already specking out the AV and the security, but the client only wants to do the first floor, but you want to make the second floor optional. So tons of ways to group and have clients engage with the proposal. All right, great. So I'm going to leave lists and we're going to go over to visual. And the first thing that you're prompted to do is upload a floor plan, right? And then you lock it down and you draw locations. So you use this rectangular draw locations tool and you kind of hover over each space. And let's just say this is a pool house. You hover over each location and define it. So when you add equipment, we'll organize it like it would be on the proposal. And then it's business as usual. So I'm going to go ahead and just search for that camera. And I'm going to turn on my click to add mode, and adding one to the drawing adds it to my bill of materials. So this is visual quoting. You don't lose any functionality by working this way. The detail bar slides out. You can make your modifications, and you also gain coverage shapes. Right? This is a really nice sales tool, and maybe why you recommend one camera over the next. So coverage shapes are great for camera coverage, Wi-Fi coverage, sound dispersion, things like that. And then off to my left, I have a double chevron tab here. So you can expand that, and you can also drag and drop. Let me go into a location that has something. You can drag and drop directly from the bill of materials onto the drawing page as well. So it's this cool 2-for-1 space. You can start here and just quote everything out, knowing that we're capturing everything in the bill of materials, or you can build it first and then drag and drop and display the big ticket items. But really, really nice. You can flip flop between the product and the icon. Really nice flexibility there. And you have your location shapes, just giving you a tour of this, your tool tray. You can add text. You have access to a pencil and an eraser. Draw a heart for Valentine's Day. So this could be as internal or as client facing as you'd like. And it's really easy to insert this inside the proposal for your customer to engage with. Let me remove that so my heart doesn't look broken. All right, and this is visual quoting. All right, and then last but certainly not least, we're going to bounce over to image. And a tablet is really a great display the device to use with the DTools Cloud because of the camera. So I'm just going to take a picture here. Where is it? This is Ben's cute front door. Now, if this is a new location, of course, define it. I'm just going to link that image to an existing location. So as you're doing your walkthrough, we will keep your photos organized by location. So straight away, you get everything that's in this location, and you have access to text, a pencil, an eraser, and most importantly, the equipment that you sell. So I'm just going to search for a doorbell here and do the same thing. Popping it on top of the image adds it to my bill of materials, and another way to approach the quoting process. All right. So once you're happy and you've added all your equipment, the last stop on the quoting train is the review section. And we really allow you to slice and dice this a variety of different ways to make sure that this is a healthy opportunity for the business. But I'm just going to work down the pricing summary so it shows you the count and the dollar amount in each location. You can add adjustments. Adjustments can be a fixed adjustment. Maybe it's a one-off friends and family discount per se, or it can be a markup. So you're lots of flexibility with adding adjustments. I happen to have a dynamic adjustment. I'm just saying, DTools, capture 3% of my product and labor mix and just tack that on as miscellaneous materials, right? There's lots of unforeseeables that tend to pop up during projects. So we just want to make sure we love to capture costs, guys. So we just want to make sure that we are accounting for that and translating that onto the client. And then you can see what your profit is, and this is a 20% margin. Now, Barry might be okay with that, but he also might want to kind of look at where we're missing the mark, and just going in and seeing it by phase or a product versus labor report. This is also an awesome one. Even though we're charging time, a healthy project should have a 70-30 split between equipment and labor at least, right? Make sure that we're capturing the right amount of time because this is the quickest way for what we call margin erosion, right? The biggest variable with the project. So I can see that I'm missing the mark on labor. And maybe we're going to quickly go to the labor tab and maybe I'm going to up the price or increase the difficulty factor. But just a little bit, 5 minutes of time here can really make the difference to make sure that, again, we're meeting our goals and this is a healthy opportunity for the customer. For you. Now we're going to present the proposal, and you have a lot of different options. The first thing that we do during your onboarding is we create a proposal template. You can have multiple templates. A template is not only the skin, but it's the setting. If you've added a package, are you showing the contents or just the name? So you're able to just add these different sections to create your proposal. So I have a text section here of my philosophy. You can upload videos about, testimonials or what it means to work with your brand, anything to get them emotionally connected. And then you can create beautiful portfolios and hyperlink the images, define your company profile. People can get acquainted with the team. Here is that project description text. Remember, we talked about that earlier, about having standardization across your documentation. That section automatically gets added as a section in your proposal. And then you can also insert the image quote and the visual quote. So your client will be able to, click on it, go into the locations, get some details about the equipment and just engage with this document. And then it goes into your location section, right? Here's that alternate that I gave Ben. He can choose whichever one he'd like. Or that switch that I made optional, client wants to add it, they just add it. And then they get a little footer notification that they've made a change and what that revenue adjustment looks like. Clicking on the product, they'll give the details. You can show resources and all that stuff. And then you get a breakdown. You can show them labor by phase, or you can have the word total and a dollar amount. The payment terms that we agreed upon, your T's and C's, and then they would electronically accept and sign your proposal. All right. So this present mode, that's if you're in the field and you're gonna be presenting and handing them the iPad to sign, let's go ahead and get this done. Initial deposit, let's do it. But if you're gonna be sharing the proposal with them, and this is how you email the proposal. So you'll just type in or select the client and give it a subject. All right. And you control this text. And we also have tags. So if you want to say hello, client name, just to make your communication a little bit more targeted, that's actually a new feature of ours. And send. Now, if you do want to add an expiration date on it, you can. Let's just say Ben has till the end of the month to decide. If he clicks on it on the 1st of February, it'll, oops, you're viewing an expired proposal. Please see Chanel for an updated quote, which is really nice because your pricing is changing. And if a client goes dark, it might mean that we need to give them a new proposal if they raise their hand 6 months later. And we actually have a nice feature for that. You can just duplicate the quote and refresh it against the catalog. Easy peasy. And I can automate up to 2 email reminders, right? So if I forget to follow up, we'll represent this 2 days before it expires and 1 day. So really, really nice automation tools here. And then I would just send this. This is not a real email address, so I'm just going to hit X. All right. And that kind of puts a bow on the proposal process. We have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to kick things into high gear and just kind of outline what post-sale looks like. The client said yes. I'm going to drag it in my final stage, and I'm going to create that project. It brings you right into the project, but just to back it up one level, we now have a new project in the start of our post-sale marathon. So we're going to go into it, and is what we hope to be your PM's dream dashboard, right? Are there key dates here? Change orders? Has the client paid us? What's the status of every product in this job? Labor completed, and we sold it at 13 hours, right? As your technicians clock in and out from the job site, or you just add a time entry, we're going to deduct from the overall amount of time sold. So you'll be able to see a nice graph as you approach project completion, which helps more, accurately um, track that and finish on time and on budget. So I'm going to go right to the details tab because this is another workflow and benefit of working with Staub. So on the items tab, this is the entire bill of material that was sold, and we're tracking full on item status. You know, has has that been received? Has it is it in stock? Is it ready to order? Which is a nice workflow. You can mark things ready to order, and it sits on its own tab, so that if I'm your operations resource, I can just check that ready to order tab in the morning, in the evening, and just create those POs as they get put on my board, so to speak. But the most important functionality here is creating the purchase order, right? You can filter by location, by system, phase, brand, or supplier. I'm just going to filter to Staub, select all, and hit create purchase order. So again, um, we would love nothing more than for you to just hit this send PO and it will go directly to Staub for fulfillment, right? And we're also letting you know, hey, between the time that the client said yes and you created this purchase order, your cost has changed. So we want to capture that as well because that affects your overall profit margin on this particular job. But yeah, you're putting in your shipping, you're selecting your method, and you will put your supplier contact and any notes and electronically send this over to Staub. If you prefer to send your purchase orders to Staub from QuickBooks, you can send this purchase order over to QuickBooks and then from QuickBooks send it over. So two workflows for you. All right, letting you know that they've been automatically saved. Fantastic. So all these products have been drafted on purchase order one. Now, when the equipment starts to come in, you'll go to your orders, and this is where you'll manage your POs. Um, these columns are not customizable because there is some workflow automation built in. If you drag and drop your purchase order into the ordered column, all the products within that PO have been updated to the ordered status. Same with received. The only one that's kind of this limbo state is partially received because we're waiting on you to let us know. So once equipment starts to come in, you can say, okay, 4 of those came. The state dynamically changes, right? We've got 1 of those, we got 2 of these, and then 4 of these. All right, and once everything's been accounted for, this PO has been fulfilled, and we can start our work. Okay, so that's just the purchase order tab. I'm going to go back to our project. Whoops. All right, and the equipment has come in, and the client has paid. This doesn't affect your accounting software. This is just for you to let anyone that's internal to your team know that this customer has paid and been invoiced for the project completion. And oops, we got a phone call. We haven't even started and the client changed their mind, right? So here's the change order tab where you can do a new change order, external versus internal. I'm just going to just do AV upgrade. They want to change something. The interface looks very familiar, but changes happen a lot, and we want to make it really easy for you to track and manage change. So this is where you delete stuff, you add stuff, or you can replace stuff. This camera, there's 2 in the main entry and 2 in the covered patio. I'm only going to be replacing the one in the main entry. They want something different. So I'm going to find something else from Claire. I'm going to go over to the library, and let's just say they want that one, right? So we made a change, and we're going to replace that product. It's less, so sometimes that happens, but maybe we can tack something else on to make up for it. But you're getting a icon that lets you know what location that change is happening in. And maybe I'm going to just change the quantity to 5, right? So we are moving here. I see my alerts. So my cost is there, but my price isn't set. So I'm going to say 40 points on this one. All right. What's going on here? Same. I'm going to work from my margin. All right. And we're moving. Okay, cool. So that one went away. And you would go and do the same thing. But now you can also filter by the net bill of materials, what's changed, what's been added, and what's been removed. And then we would just submit a new change order proposal. Do you just want it to be a line item, quick quote, or do you want to give them a full-on proposal with all the bells and whistles about exactly what has changed and what they now owe us for that change? All right, and we'll send the proposal. I'm just going to hit accepted and manually accept this change order. And then just know that if I were connected to QuickBooks, would keep this revenue flowing to the existing estimate over in QuickBooks, or you can also send it over as a new estimate. All right, so that is some of the back office. But now that we have our equipment, last but certainly not least, you can define your project plan. So a project plan is a list of tasks. It's your brain dump. What do we need to do to be successful here? So you can say, I'm going to invoice. When would you like it done? And who's responsible for this activity, right? And then you're going to say complete pre-wire, E-L-E-T-E. I can't spell, guys. So hit create. And you can stop right there. We wanted to make this as loose or as granular as a company would like to work. So I am going to just show you the granular bit. You can come in here. This is the lion's share of what your technician would see. So you're going to say, Chanel, do something and hurry. And then you can do a checklist, you know, identify wire storage. This is a list of items that you want the technician to check off before they leave the job site. And then when you hit add items, the entire bill of material is going to come up. Is this a task for a specific location, for a system? Let's just say you guys want me to install the main entry. I'm going to add those products to my task, or you can also just cherry pick what you have in office, in-house. And then when your technician updates the item status, that's what's going to update you in the office and let you know what got accomplished and what might be on site pending installation. You can attach documentation here to, you know, help them be more successful. And any documentation that you created during the sales process, you can easily just add that as a reference point for your technician, right? The more documentation, the better. So now that you have a task, you'll go to your schedule, and I'm going to find myself, and I'm going to add that task to a resource. And now here it is. All right. So I'm going to put a bow on it right there. We covered quite a bit today. We covered the pricing integration with Staub and how we want to facilitate your sales pipeline management and proposal process, and then also loop in the back office. And soon we'll be launching service. So I hope that you have a better idea of the benefits of connecting to Staub for integrated pricing and how it can help speed up your sales workflow. We look forward to you joining us for a future webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chanel. Very informative, and a lot of questions did flow.
All
so
right.
One of the questions was with regard to system integrator and how to connect pricing. I am actually dropping like a URL in the chat. which is an entire tour on how to do so, and you will be able to follow it. Another question that came was, are we required to add catalog items one at a time? Or will the entire Staub catalog import when we sign in?
Great question. You will be adding products one at a time, and we used to do it that way, but it's it's we want to keep your catalog as lean and mean as possible, right? Managing equipment is challenging enough versus managing equipment that you don't sell. So for that reason, we want you to add, you know, keep it limited to the products that you sell. But ultimately, you can get there. We're just not going to make it easy for you.
But when I go like manage pricing and select like Staub, I can update the price for all of SCP, correct? I do
Yeah,
not need to go to each SCP SKU and SCP wire one at a time to import the
correct.
price, correct?
Correct. Absolutely. You'll go to, let's just go to your catalog and go to my suppliers. And if I want to update everything for Staub, I'm just going to update for all my products. We just don't want you to pull down all 5 million, 10 million, 20 million products that Staub offers because it is a browser based application and we also don't want to affect your performance.
Chime in real quick on this too, to answer on that. The pricing for Staub will be there. So even if I have a product that's not in my catalog yet, when you go to add it to your bill of materials, it's still in the product catalog with the Staub pricing. And then as soon as you add it to your quote, it will then bring it into your catalog, so you have quick access to it. So the pricing will be loaded already. Yeah.
Beautiful. Can we build packages that do not show individual pricing but one package price?
Absolutely. And that's a quote setting. So I'm just going to go into Barry's example here. So if you've added a package, I'm going to do a multimedia proposal. I'm just going to edit. So in the location section is where all those settings live, right? How are you grouping? What do you want to show? Are you showing labor? And you kind of work through these tabs here, but you would just turn on your summarize package. And then that way it'll only show the description, the image, and the dollar amount, and not the contents of the package.
Beautiful.
Same thing with item pricing. If you don't want to show item pricing and model number and unit price, like turn all that off, guys. They're working with you with your brand and they're buying a solution. So this way it kind of eliminates the nickel and dime conversation.
Beautiful. But one question as well, and I know it's going to tie back like to pricing again. So just to make sure, when someone notices like an item that has a $0 value, like a clear camera during the presentation, or do I update that very quickly?
Yeah, great question. So let's add it, right? So we're gonna search Claire. I'm gonna go to the library and I'm gonna just pick. Hope I don't have that one. It's white. I'm gonna add it to the quote, and then you're gonna get a little asterisk here that lets you know the pricing is 0, right? We know who you're buying it from. We just don't know what you want to sell it for. So that way I can just put 125, or let's make some more money on that. 30% markup. Margin is what I want to make on this product. Now keep in mind that I've just done that for this specific client. If you want us to remember that for this device moving forward, you got to hit this Save Changes to Catalog button and update if there are more than one instance in this particular quote, right? Otherwise, we won't remember that that's what you want to sell it for.
Beautiful.
And then, Ben, one other thing, if there's a clear camera that doesn't have a cost associated and they are connected to you for pricing, typically that would indicate that that's a clear camera that you don't have in your price list.
Makes sense. One question is, how does everything looks when imported in QuickBooks online? Is that something that you would have a demonstration on, or maybe a video that we can point the audience to?
Absolutely. So I'll send you the video. I didn't have a Sandbox account to demonstrate that with, but happy to share in our resource center. You can so we have in-app guidance as well. So this little green icon in the bottom right, this is where you can quickly chat with our technicians or search our knowledge base for articles. And it's a popular article on our QuickBooks integration, and just kind of see. First, we usually typically have an article with screenshots, and then there's a complimentary video that I can share, so it walks you through what that integration looks like.
Beautiful. Someone does a lot of like delivery. How do you add delivery to a quote?
What do you mean delivery?
Items, just to bring the items from our customer's place to the end user. So I store everything in my warehouse. Now I'm going to go and do the project at your place, but I'm charging you a delivery fee. How do I make that happen?
In the sales process, or after the after the job has been sold?
During the quote, and I would have a line item at the quote that says you have a $150 delivery fee.
Okay, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. I would, as a best practice, I would go into the quote, and just add that as an adjustment at the end. If every quote is going to have a delivery fee, just make a fixed amount. It's gonna $300 is your delivery fee. Do you want it's a fixed amount? And then you would save for future quotes. So every time you create a quote, it's gonna just tack that delivery fee on.
Beautiful. Exact answer we were looking for. Do you have inventory tracking capability when it comes down to detours and once connected with Staub?
Great question. So yes and no. We do not have inventory management today, but we will maybe either Q2 or Q3 of this year. We're actually branding that feature as asset management. So we'll be able to, track stock levels, and also when your technician goes, out to a service call, are they repairing the item or are they replacing the item? If they're going to replace it, it's coming from stock, and we want to be able to introduce some barcode scanning and things like that. So no, not today, but check back with us around Q3 of this year, and we may have either it's out or we have a release time frame, because it is on the roadmap for this year.
Beautiful. Other question: what does all of this cost?
Peanuts. I'm happy to bring up our pricing page. And we don't have a one-size-fits-all solution, right? So you can easily customize your pricing. If it's just you, we have solo packages starting at $99 a month. I'm happy to walk you through the team plan. This is our most popular plan. $250 a month will get you 3 office users and 3 field users. Keeping in mind, a field user is a technician. It's a very limited feature set. They can receive tasks, track time, and see their schedule for the week. Everyone else is an office user. But that's what you get for your $249. If you need a 4th office user, you can just add a 4th on for $80. If you are using QuickBooks, it's a flat rate of $25 per company for that integration. And if you needed a 4th tech, $15. Because of the nature of our software, everyone gets support, right? if the application's not working, you're not making money. So everyone gets access to chat. Our technicians are very responsive and they're very knowledgeable. If your personality sits on the other end of the spectrum and you want to add additional priority, goal support chats go into a separate queue, and you also have an escalation path, for phone support and screen share and things like that. So that's optional. And then there is a one-time setup and training cost. It's a bucket of 6 hours, or whatever hour, depending on the plan. And it's your time to use however you'd like. It's really how we quickly create ROI. You know your business, and we know the application. We hope that you find it intuitive, but our goal here is just to kind of fast track it. So typically what we would do during onboarding is the housekeeping stuff, right? We're going to import any data, get your catalog going, start building those packages, the alternate sets, and defining your taxes and your different labor rates. And then about the second hour, now we're talking about proposal customization. And we want you to leave that session with, a quote that you're confident and ready to start presenting to the customer. Because that's really, the biggest hurdle is just getting that quote the way that you'd like it to look. And then, I would say scheduling a session at every leg of the race would be nice. Like, book a meeting when you want to send out your first proposal. When you get your first signed proposal back, schedule another training session, and then we'll walk you through ordering and then bringing in those post-sale resources. And, by 4 hours, you should be, 80% implemented. But that's our pricing.
Chanel, can you click on the annual pricing for that?
Pardon?
Click on the annual for that. And then Chanel mentioned this earlier in the call, but you get a 10% discount when you pay annually. And then we've got the deal for Staub that if you sign up before end of the month, you get an additional 5% off of that annual as well.
Which is coupon code STAUB5. And the pricing that you're showing us right now, I notice you're on dtools.com. Is that USD or CAD?
It's USD.
USD. Okay, sounds good. Other questions that came through. Can we attach a list of tools checklist recommended for a specific labor job or product?
If we provide that?
Yes. So let's say I'm sending my technician to go and do an in-ceiling speakers install today. Can I have a recommended checklist of items that he should have on site?
We don't provide that in our application, but that's definitely a conversation that we can have one-on-one during your onboarding, right? That's some of the people. Our customers are very savvy. You guys are smart, but when you get that onboarding training, some of the benefits, the additional benefits are the best practices and what other companies in the industry are doing and kind of how that applies to your business. So we don't have one that's just, in the application, but we can talk about what that would look like. And just to bring up, I have another subscription here, but this is kind of one of my task templates here. So once you build out, a list, you can save it and use it over and over again. So this is kind of my formula for success. We invoice, we order, we walk the site, but yeah, we're happy to help with what that default would look.
You could do something based on the product, so it would be a customization, so to speak, where if that's something such as home theater install, you would have the complete checklist of products required on the job.
Yeah, we could talk about it, and I think that's what I want, users to really take away. We're both going to do the work, right? Not because you agree to spend the money means that we're going to be successful, but our team is here to fully help train and implement, and get you guys creating ROI as quickly as possible.
Okay, sounds good. And I will connect you to review that with this integrator. For proposal, can we pull material and labor and present supply and install as one price for the customer.
I'm in a different, so just to make sure, you don't want to break out labor and product.
Guys, that's an entire like package price where it is material and labor shows one price.
So the same way you would edit the location section, you would just edit the summary section, and let's just say you want that. That's what you want. So
Okay.
you're basically just playing with all the different grouping and display options until you find your sweet spot, and then you would save those changes as a part of the existing template or as a new template.
So it's a yes, and you can do other options of that as well.
Beautiful. And obviously, like when someone logs in dTools, all the pricing that they see for the suppliers is Canadian based, correct? I know that for us with Staub, we pass on like Canadian like dollars. So when the price like updates, is that the same across every other manufacturer that would be added?
Yes. Cost and MSRP are both dynamic fields, and they are unique to Canada, and it's based off of geofencing done off of country code.
Beautiful. And there, how do you deal with suppliers that are not connected to dTools catalog?
I'll take that one, Chanel. So we have obviously more suppliers than just what's available in Canada. And we have a manufacturer database that is extensive. We have around 1,000 brands. So if there's a supplier that is in Canada that they want to get their pricing from, all that is required is they have the manufacturer's actual model number. And as long as it's a manufacturer that is a partner of ours, the pricing will import and attach accordingly, and they can create that new supplier for those products. There will be some products, obviously, that won't be in there, but 1,000 brands, we've got quite a few.
Beautiful. And other question that came up, and I think I have the answer to that one, is setup and training a requirement? Based on what I've seen on your screen, Chanel, it is an option. There for the pricing, I can decide to have that set up.
This piece right here?
That is correct, yes.
Yes, it is optional, but I really highly recommend. What I've seen most companies do is skimp on training, and because we solve the proposal piece, only implement 45, maybe 55% of what we can do, right? So to truly maximize the use and deploy this to the different disciplines within your organization, I feel like that's what training does, but it is optional. People that also don't get training end up in chat, and chat's fine, but it's a more proactive approach to implementing versus I'm in the middle of a quote and I can't find the button, and now it's a high friction point and there's a deadline, hovering over your head. So it just really makes for a nice, smooth deployment when you're implementing a tool like ours. But again, at the end of the day, cash flow is real, so it is optional.
Okay, sounds good. And one thing with regards to the additional 5% off when someone enters a coupon code like STOP5, is that only for the first year, or is that like ongoing for the rest of the integrator being on dTools?
It is for the first year.
That is for the first year. Any application for construction? We do have one of our integrators that also does framing, drywalling, and painting, as well as electronic solutions. Can they quote that type of jobs for framing, drywall? I would assume would be to create a specific line item on that quote.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got our start in automation, but there's several markets that we serve. I've seen quotes that with Formica on it. So you're not limited to, you can create a SKU and if add an image, if it has a cost and a selling price, you can quote it.
Beautiful. Is there an area where an integrator can quickly review all of the different suppliers that you are integrated with?
Yeah. I was trying
there
to,
is, but I'll one up that for you. I'll send you a current list of suppliers because the one that we have is a little more complete in a PDF version.
Okay.
I'll have all the direct connections.
Beautiful. And I will circulate that to the group afterwards. And how can we connect you to more suppliers? So I'm assuming someone is already a D-Tools user and would like you to onboard one more of the brands that they support. How do they do that?
So I'll take that one too. Two things. One is we obviously have more brands that are on board than are available in Canada yet. And so that's me actually actively going and talking to whoever the brand is and simply getting Canadian cost and Canadian MSRP. Once we do that, we can turn them on. That's why we went from no brands to 30-ish about now, and we'll have, I would guess, probably closer to 100 plus by end of year, just with what we've currently got. If there's a brand that we're not associated with, an introduction, a warm intro via email, and then I'll give them information about our partner program and try to bring them on for them.
Beautiful. And so far, looks like it's concluding the list of questions that I do have for you. And I just see, can we be provided with a link to rewatch the webinar? Yes, definitely. I will send that within the next 48 hours. So you do have that in your inbox.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. It was really a pleasure working with you, and thank you for making this possible.
Oh, thank you. And thank you to everyone that joined the webinar. I see that we had a lot of questions, meaning that everyone was engaged. So excellent job, everyone. Thank you very much. Everyone has a wonderful rest of your day.